The LG V10 has set a new standard with the way we look at our cameras on our phones. Featuring the same manual controls that are found on the G4 for taking a photo, as well as that nice and bright f1.8 aperture, it's an incredible phone. But it doesn't stop there, it actually builds onto that by giving you manual controls for video now, as well as directional pickup for your microphone.
A quick test to see how much audio this actually picks up while I'm directly behind it. I have the audio actually pushed forward. So previously I had the mic going all the way forward, so all it should have gotten is the water hitting. Now I have the mic all the way backwards, so all you should
You see, it's
hear
technology
is my
like
voice.
this that makes me question the need for point and shoot cameras like this. This is the RX100 Mark IV. It's made by Sony, and it's known all across the globe and the YouTube world as the best in its class. Featuring an f1.8 aperture when the lens is at its widest angle, and then as you zoom, it goes down to f2.8. It has internal 4K recording with a standard class 3 memory card at 100 megabits per second and 24 frames per second or 30 frames per second. You also have S-Log2, and it also features built-in ND filters and of course stabilization. Taking the best from both worlds, the point and shoot world and the smartphone world, I wanted to compare these two to see, how far have we come and can the V10 replace my point and shoot camera? I left the RX100 at its widest angle in order to keep the f1.8 aperture. That way I could compare it to the aperture that's found on the V10, which is also f1.8. Even though I know the depth of field is going to be different due to the different sensor sizes, I wanted to see how well each of these would perform at f1.8. I put HDR and auto mode on both, that way I could get the maximum dynamic range, whether shooting in the shadows or just in an extremely bright area. And then I performed 3 different tests. I performed a JPEG test, a RAW test, and then a 4K test, with the settings the same all across the board. Unfortunately, shooting with your shutter speed on auto tends to have a negative effect in the sense that you can't use the double your frames per second rule. That meant that the footage on the RX100 came out a little bit choppy. I did edit a little bit in post in order to try to smooth things out, but in the end it really didn't matter anyways. The footage off the V10 is really, really bad, and that's because of the optical image stabilization. With that being said though, when it came to stills, the images coming off my V10 I found to be more impressive than I could imagine. In fact, I preferred a lot of the images off of the V10 versus the ones on the RX100. And that's just because I like the colors. They're more vivid, they're more full of life, whereas the RX100s are more natural and more realistic. In the end though, you could probably edit the ones found on the RX100 much more than you can on the V10. However, just coming straight off the camera, whether it was RAW or JPEG, I preferred probably 60 to 70% of the images off the V10 versus the ones found on the RX. Let me know at the end of the video in a comment which ones you prefer, and if you want to see more content like this or you just like my channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any new content. Go ahead and follow me on all my social media connections, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Be easy. question, do we need point and shoot cam? Can you stop? That's the RX100 Mark IV. It's do it again. Do it again. I dare you.